Yeah.
All right, recording. Want to do on the minute?
Sure.
Hell yeah. All right.
All right.
All right. All right.
We good to start? Is this
All right.
180 correct?
All right.
All left. Okay. We're good. There's the notes. Okay.
Okay. Isn't it Donkey Kong's 40th or something like that?
It is.
Is that news? Is that
Kirk
more
I guess,
news?
yeah,
than-
Donkey Kong
for
was
the
before
DK rap.
Jumpman or Jumpman and right.
There. I've replaced the Witcher news with Donkey Kong is 40.
But I'll bring up my point when we get there. Hello and welcome to episode 180 of the Gaming Fyx podcast on July 10th, 2021. I am your host, Andre Cole, aka your partner's favorite bird. I'm joined today by Allison.
Oh God, I don't know what my favorite bird is. When I was in third grade, our class had a pet bird, and I can't remember the name, but I liked it, so that's my favorite bird.
Was it like a parrot or like a?
No, it was like a kind of a small kind of
Tweety bird or like a
kind of
canary. Is that?
It was like
canary?
it seemed like a
budgie?
canary, like that kind of size,
Okay.
like a small little bird.
Okay.
Did it have
This-
a name?
It did, but I can't remember it.
Oh.
Wow. Well, maybe it'll come to you.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Alex, favorite bird.
God, that's, I don't know, Snowy Owl? They're pretty kick-ass.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, no, they're cute.
Yeah.
Owls are-
Owls are red.
How about you, Andre? What is your favorite bird? Not your partner's.
This is. No one ever asks me. Wow. I always have to offer it up myself. Man, I didn't think I was gonna have to come out and say. Usually I just go with like eagle because like eagles are cool. They can fly fast. They like got the screech. They're majestic.
They
Yeah.
actually don't really have the screech.
I guess that's more of a falcon thing.
Yeah, it's more of a hawk.
Falcon screech. Yeah, hawk. Yeah.
They just kind of chirp, eagles. They're weird.
Yeah, but yeah, and birds of prey are cool. Raptors, as they were.
Oh, raptors are cool. Near me, there's the Raptor Center that basically helps rehabilitate and take in raptors, and they do a lot of programs and shows, and those are always really, really cool.
Yeah, when I was in
big ass birds.
elementary school, junior high school, the Raptor Center people came to my school and were like, "Hey, check out these birds."
And you're like, damn, those are some cool birds.
And you're like, damn, Toronto, how'd you get all those raptors?
aren't those raptors like dinosaur raptors?
Yeah.
Clever girl.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wish I knew any players on that team that I could just call out, but no.
Drake.
Yeah.
Wait, no, that's
Precisely.
like a dragon. Speaking of clever girls, Allison, you've been playing.
Oh, I was wondering if that was going to make me or it's like anybody other than Allison. No.
Oof.
I don't know who Alex is playing in his game, but you're playing a game that you're coming back to that features a clever girl.
Yeah.
Not that you aren't clever yourself, but.
Oh, okay. That's why you said clever. Speaking of clever girl, and then went to me, not because of me. I see how it is. I see. How it is.
You're plenty clever, but like I don't know, maybe
I'm not an alchemist. Is the
this
thing.
alchemist? Yeah, this clever girl alchemist, the hot anime this year.
Anyways, so well, first I think I'm going to start with Atelier Online, which I just started.
Girl combines her cat and her dad, who's sick, so they
Oh
can.
God, no. Never mind. Anime was a mistake. Goodbye.
Well, yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should watch out,
Miyazaki is
Jackson.
like, he was right on the money. Anime was a mistake. Yeah, no, I played Atelier Online, which made me go back to playing Atelier Ryza 2 because Atelier Online is kind of mediocre, but it made me want to play it. It made me want to play a good game.
Is this the gotcha game you were
It
talking
sure
about?
is.
Okay,
So it's
yeah,
the new mobile gotcha game. I'd seen
It's mobile.
a billion ads for it and was like, oh, I've been playing the gotchas lately. This is a series that I'm interested in. It's coming to the US in July, so I was like, I will get alerted and download it when I can. So I did do that. The thing is that it, I think, does one of my least favorite things in mobile games, which is basically just provide a watered down version of the main game. So it feels like it kind of has a lot of the same sort of like tenor of a normal Atelier game, where it's like, hey, you're gonna be an alchemist, and here now there's like here's this story that you have to do, and here are your new friends and stuff. But then also let's put in a gotcha system, which is kind of shoehorned in a very funny way, where one of the character's uncle, I think, is an inventor, and he invents like this space-time continuum like thing, but it's like, hey, but you can do this to get outfits and items and sometimes people, and you're just like, the implications of this are intense. And I think that they will be addressed later in the story maybe, but at the same time, for the gotcha system, anyways.
So
but
wait, sorry, was the implication that it's creating these things or teleporting them from elsewhere? Because if it's creating people,
I think teleporting them.
okay,
I don't know.
That's how a lot of these games work. Is like, hey,
Yeah.
we're pulling people from throughout time and space. It's like, you're doing what now?
But also
These people
they
are just
might
chill with this.
I don't know, but they also might be there because they're doing an event with one of the previous main characters of a game, Totori, and it's like, but it's like she's going to this school with you guys, but at the same time, I don't know. This is a very weird game, and apparently it's not very reassuring that they've already basically stopped supporting it in Japan. Is what I found. And now they're like releasing it in the US, and we're like, and I was like looking up like people in the fan community, and we're all kind of like, yeah, they're just probably trying to just make a last ditch amount of money on this
sunk cost. Like, okay, let's get what we can out of it.
Let's get what we can out of the worldwide demographic. But I think in general it's not terrible. It just feels like, why would I play this when I could play literally any other Atelier game, especially since all of the most recent ones are on Switch now, and I've got Ryza on Switch, so it's like I still can play that handheld. But it's kind of a shame, because I feel like that's kind of one of the things I don't like about a lot of attempts at mobile, is like, hey, we're going to give you the experience of this series you like, but lesser, and now it's on your phone.
It's weird because I'm sorry, I'm looking at the Google Play Store as well as the Apple iOS Store, and the rating is really high on both of them, like 4.3 and 4.4 out of 5. And
I don't
I feel like the gotcha
like
games
with like
always
1,300
tend to
votes.
have,
So-
I feel like gotcha games tend to have pretty high scores.
It's like, I don't think it's necessarily terrible. That's the thing. I mean, like when I say watered down, it's like, it's not horrible. It's basically a lot of what you're doing in that series. So if that's what you want from your mobile games, then maybe you really like this game. But that's personally just not something that I enjoy from a mobile game. I want something that's like designed primarily to be played on your phone in small, in small spurts. You know, it's.
Do you think like most of the gacha crowd do not care about the property about the gacha? They just want the gacha. Like, are the people who are coming in here and rating it highly, have they never heard of Atelier before? Maybe.
I mean, maybe.
Like for me, like I've been trying to find a gacha game that like hits like. For me, it's not so much about the property, but it's about like the art. And like, you know, if it's a property I like, then that's like even better. Like I really enjoyed the Dragon Ball gacha I was playing, but it became like just a little bit too like I have to spend too much time actually playing it when I want to be like, okay, I just want to like kind of like get the quick hit of the gacha pulls and like get through the stuff and like, you know, level up my characters and make my JPEG stronger. But so like having the cool different Gokus or whatever, you know, the different characters, that was cool. But now when I'm looking for like a new gacha right now, I'm seeing all these characters where I'm like, I hate the art in this. Like, and the gameplay also like is important. I don't want like super like heavy gameplay necessarily, because like I want to pull it out for like 3 minutes or whatever. But so like it's mostly like an art thing for me. Like I need the art to be something engaging, and I don't want it to be only anime ladies. I was playing, I can't remember the name of it. Like it's like anime ladies. I don't have a problem with anime ladies, but I want more than just anime ladies, because like that begins to feel like
that's all I'm playing right now,
like,
guy.
Sure, that's fine. Like it's less weird for you because like you're a woman. Whereas if it's with me, it just like, even if like I don't really care, it just feels like it makes me feel weird.
You know, if somebody looked over on your phone and saw you playing some of the gacha games I've been playing, like, people would be like, what are you doing?
I'm not playing it for the anime ladies. I'm playing it because they've got cool designs, but I want like more. I don't want more than just like anime lady designs.
Was this Alchemy Stars?
Yes. So Alchemy Stars, they've got like anime ladies and then like some animal people, which is just like, okay. And like some of the ladies are like animal. Basically, it was like the female characters were like humanoid, or like, you know, look like people, and then maybe they had like a tail or some wings or like something like that. And then there were like, this is a rabbit with a chainsaw.
Hell yeah.
Okay, that's
or
pretty
like
rad.
But it was mostly so it's like and the gameplay seemed
want to do that too.
You should check it out, because like from the little bit I played, it actually seemed like it had some pretty neat like gameplay stuff. It's new too, so you can like get in there early.
Yeah, I saw the
because that's like important to gachas. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the opening cinematic
it's very like
crazy.
It's very story heavy.
Sounds pretty rad.
I think it's got neat art. It's got like a cool puzzly combat system, so it's like engaging in that way, and it's designed for mobile.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I find it interesting. I mean, I suppose everybody has different things that they would want from a mobile game, but for me, I want something that's very specifically a mobile experience on when it's with my phone. Like, and that's why I've been kind of getting 100%. Into these what I've been getting into like rhythm games, is that I feel like they translate really well. And I get that you're not necessarily looking for a rhythm game, but that's why I've been spending way too much time on these rhythm game gacha games, because I feel like they kind of exemplify I have like 2 minutes time to play one of the songs in D4DJ or Boundary, and then you're good. So I don't know.
Get some Osu on the go.
I don't even know what to make of rhythm games anymore. Like back in like Guitar Hero, like those days, it was simple, it was understandable. Rock Band, like, okay, I get it. Now, like all these newfangled rhythm games coming out with like the dancing games, I'm like, so what is happening? I don't understand this at all. Both with like the Just Dance, I just cannot move my body appropriately, or with like the Persona dancing all night, or the Hatsune Miku games. I'm just like, I do not like this design. This is not intuitive to me at all. And then whatever they did with Kingdom Hearts, which was just absolutely terrible.
Hey, what about Theatrhythm?
Was that like the
That's a Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Is it
like it was like Final Fantasy 1 through 13.
I did not play that. Let's pull up this seems reasonable. Yeah, no, this seems fine.
It's good.
Then there was like some game that Alex Arona talked about when he joined us a couple weeks ago. It's called I have to open up Steam to find it, but that's like, it's being kickstarted. It's got like sick Japanese music, and it's like you're basically like in a punk band sort of, and you're fighting off like little monsters that come at you and stuff, and like jumping around. It's pretty cool. Unbeatable. Yeah, there's a demo on Steam. Unbeatable white label, and I guess they're going to be updating that until the game comes out with like new songs and stuff. That's pretty good. It's simple, but it's good and like makes sense.
Unlike Atelier Online.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's terrible, but finding out also, I think the thing that kind of killed it for me as an interest was finding out just that it was not, that the support in Japan wasn't there. So it's like, okay, I feel like I could potentially push through some of the jank and push through some of that because I like the aesthetic. I like the general vibe of this series, but finding out, okay, this is kind of the last ditch attempt to make money off of this is not necessarily reassuring for the future of this game, and not something I necessarily want to put in my gacha bucks into.
Sure. Makes sense.
I've got other games that I put gacha bucks into.
There's gotta be like, I wonder when we'll hit saturation of gacha games, if we ever will, just because
I don't know.
Especially with like licensed ones, I can see like, oh well, there's always like people like, oh well, I got to get the One Piece stuff, or I got to get the Dragon Ball stuff. But with like these like wholly original ones, because a lot of them are just like aping the style and like the ideas of other gacha games. There's like King of Arena is basically just AFK Arena, like with different like characters, but like the art style is incredibly similar, like same gameplay basically. It's like, when does it become too much? And like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think it's largely going to become the new free-to-play style, right? Like, it went from the power system of old, which was like, oh, you buy the currency that gives you power for a couple days, kind of thing, or like, gets you 5,000 whatever the currency is, and then et cetera. But now I think gacha is just going to replace that for a lot of free-to-play. And if Odd Taxi taught us anything, it's that people are going to get very murderous because of it.
Of course. No, it's weird because I think it's a double-edged sword, because a lot of these games that I've been playing, they are perfectly playable full games without putting any money into it. Yeah. But it also does feed into kind of into a gambling thing. So I'm like, I'm a little bit
a collection thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, if you were somebody who had like a gambling addiction, you would not be able to play this. So it's like, I think it's very like, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's a double-edged sword where it's like, like with a lot of the rhythm games I'm playing, like you would have a full, really well-made rhythm game with a good story, interesting characters, fun, constant events, and you don't have to put any money into it. But, you might want to for the gacha. So it's like, I don't know.
There's a lot of really good gacha games. Like look at Genshin Impact, and they're still doing tons of content for Genshin.
Yeah,
Like, that's a good game. So
they've done like whole like expansions like to the map and stuff like that. It didn't click with me at all, but like there are some neat ideas there, and like I would like a game that did click with me, in that like, oh, okay, it's like a bigger budget, like, oh, I can sit on my couch and like play on the PS5 or whatever, or play on my PC and have like a more fleshed out experience if I want to, instead of just like, oh, I just want to sit on the train and for, I got 5 minutes, so I'm going to bust out some dailies or whatever and some menus. But
to get into Final Fantasy Brave Exvius.
I played a little bit of that. Like I played like, I don't know, 5 missions.
That's
I don't know. There's no way. Did I play, which one's Brave Exvius or whatever?
It's the turn-based one.
But I think there are multiple.
JRPG. Yeah, I know they have multiple, but Record Keeper is another one, I think. I
played that one too. Okay, I did play this one. Yeah, I played a few missions of this. It's like kind of like the tactics one. Final Fantasy Tactics-ish. Then there's one that's like more, what's the turn-based one? I don't even remember. Oh, what is that? There is a PC one. What the? Okay. War of the Visions. There are too many of these games. Square needs to be stopped. Somebody shut Final Fantasy down until we figure out what is going on.
It's too much chaos.
Till Jack can finish off chaos, we need to shut everything down.
There's a game called Princess Connect. That's
sure.
Good.
Why not?
I don't know it.
Do you like putting your princesses in a row? You like Connect 3 princesses?
Connect 3. It's like Bejeweled but princesses.
Yeah, there's got to be that game out there.
Oh, almost certainly.
Like there's all these like puzzle games, like the Match 3 games. There's got to be one about princesses.
Is Ryza a princess?
I was going to ask, speaking of princesses, a princess is a lot like an alchemist who needs to take the issues of her people and turn them into not issues. Atelier Ryza 2. Back at it again.
Yeah, now I'm just playing that again. I don't have anything really new to say, just that playing this, I was like, dang, the Atelier series is good. I should get back to playing it. So I'm back to playing Ryza 2. And that's a good game.
Okay. Yeah, any other recommendations or things we should be keeping an eye on?
Watch I Think You Should Leave. Season 2 just dropped on Netflix, and it's like literally all I could think about right now. So
okay. I'll give it a shot this summer. I've got time. I think I watched like an episode or two of like the first season, and it just didn't click with me, which is weird because I feel like it should. But
I think it's a show that definitely grows on you. Like when I first started watching season 1, I was like, this is pretty funny. And then like the second time you watch it, you're just like, this is the funniest thing in the world. And then watching season 2, I'm like, back at it again. So I don't know. It kind of like grows on you in a very weird way.
I'll give it another shot. Speaking of giving things a shot, Alex, you've been given a new game a shot. I gave it the demo a shot. I did not go back for a second.
I was waiting for the end of the transition. We didn't get to the name.
What is the name? I've got a fever. It's some sort of scarlet fever.
Yeah, and it can only be cured in the Nexus.
My nexus is all swollen.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
So yeah, there's been a lot of scuttlebutt about this here Scarlet Nexus. Like, heard lots of people talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pat
it
in
looks
our
good.
chat,
Mostly pretty good.
yeah, Pat in our chat was talking about how he was like falling in love with it, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It seemed interesting. Like people keep describing it as kind of like basically like a shonen anime, but in game form. And it should be noted, I don't particularly care for shonen anime, but it seemed interesting enough to give it a shot. And I'm about an hour in, and I'm not particularly sold on it. But also, from what I've heard from Pat and a few other people, is that the game doesn't really come into its own until you get like all the powers and stuff. And I certainly am not at that point, because like they're talking about all these things that like these systems and such that I've never even heard of at this point.
Yeah.
So, but the basic rundown of it is, yes, it's very, very anime styled. Like the characters look like they would be straight out of some kind of anime, and like the art style is it services that. There is also an anime being produced alongside it, so
Right.
which has its whole story, and like I think they intertwine in some ways. I haven't actually watched it. I haven't heard very good things about the anime, for what it's worth, which is unfortunate. But yeah, so the basic premise of the game is there is you're in this world which is ostensibly Earth, I guess. I don't know if it's been explicitly stated, but there is some threat from a race or a alien race or something called the Others, which is weird, but they come down and they're like, one is like a big potted plant in a vase with big fucking legs, and it's kicking the shit out of you.
Hell yeah.
Like it's got some like Allison, it's got some like Madoka vibes of like, you know, like kind of just the weird everyday objects that have turned scary, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, that's Monica. Okay.
Like a pair of scissors running at you kind of thing.
God damn it! You know how to get me like something where you're just like, oh, it's kind of like Monica. I'm like, dang, I want to play it now.
Well, just specific, it's the closest analog I can come up with.
Right. No, I
like,
get
just
you.
The stuff that shows up in the witch's seeds or whatever. That's the enemies. The Others are in this, and you as a player, you're either playing as the lady or the dude character at the start, and they're both separate stories. So they're two separate campaigns that, you know, intertwine and will meet up at some points during the actual like core story.
Like
and
Resident
then,
Evil 6, I see.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Just like Resident Evil 6, the best game in the Resident Evil series.
Yes. Everyone's favorite.
It had an Ada Wong campaign. After
you beat the game, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, and just like Scarlet Nexus, you get an Ada Wong campaign at the end. No, I'm not going to say that. That's just a lie.
Hey, you haven't beaten it. You don't know.
No, that's true. You know what?
It's conjecture.
Yeah, there could be an Ada Wong campaign. Who's to say? I haven't.
Not you.
So yeah. So like the moment-to-moment combat, you have. It's like a character action-y kind of game where you like. I'm playing on PC, but with a PS4 controller. So like you slam on square and you're doing a light attack. You slam on triangle and you're doing a heavy attack. And you also have like psionic abilities. Like you are able to hit right trigger and pull like a car from beside you and slam it into an enemy.
It's pretty easy. It just like auto targets that stuff, and it's constantly like just grabbing onto like something nearby in the environment, so it's not like difficult to do.
Yeah. So you're like doing juggles, like you're launching stuff up into the air, and then you're hitting a heavy attack to get a little bit of meter, and then slamming stuff into enemies with your psionic abilities, and you know it's that. And I don't think it feels very good. I don't know if you felt that, Andre, from playing the demo, but like that's what's having me not super sold on it, is because like I don't know, it feels like the camera especially feels like it's way too smooth, as though you're not having one-to-one control of it. It's like it has a ramp up. Like you slam your stick all the way to the left, you expect it to go left really fast, but it's like it's going with like a ramp, so it's like it's slow and then it turns. And it's doing that all the time, and even with your movement it feels like that to me. It's weird.
I didn't notice that, but I could see that being a problem in like a game like this. Yeah.
especially with larger encounters.
Yeah.
But
For me, it was just like, it just didn't really click. Like the action was fine, but it was like just, there was like just enough like friction. Whereas like, this isn't like, I don't mind like some challenge, but it was like just on the wrong side of like easy to engage with stuff. Like to get in like combat with enemies, like some of the enemies have like abilities where you need to like activate some of your special abilities to like take them out. Like so one of the special abilities you get is like, I can't remember what it's called. It's like hyper time or hyperactivity. I don't know. It makes you go fast. Or it makes everyone else slow down or seem like they're slowing down. And so like you'll get an enemy that's really fast and dodges all your attacks, and you need to use that to like chase it down. But then there's a limited amount of time you can use it, and you have to wait for it to recharge. But then you've got multiple of those enemies around, and you can only like, really get one in a charge or whatever. Maybe I was just bad. I don't know. But it was stuff like that where I'm like, there's a little bit too much waiting around when I need to do this, or like some of the stuff it's asking me to do just isn't quite clear enough. Maybe I was just bad at the game though. I don't know. It seemed like something, maybe if it was cheaper, I'd pick it up like on sale, like $30, $20 maybe. But for now, I'm not like super sold on it from the demo. I didn't finish the demo either.
yeah, I'd probably give it another hour or so before deciding if I'm going to refund it or not. I'd at least like to get to some of the more social parts of it, because it is also kind of a persona in the sense that
that's what I've heard too. A lot of
so that like talking to a certain character will like imbue your attacks with like fire or ice or whatever. It's like you build up the social link kind of equivalent, and then it does affect the combat in its own way. So like that could be cool. It's all these things where it's like, this could be cool, but I haven't seen it yet, and I'm an hour in, so I don't know. At an hour in, I would say it's okay. Maybe like 5 hours in, I'd be like, this is the best thing in the world, but not quite there yet. So it's all right. It's not as good as Odd Taxi.
All right. Well, maybe I'm going to have to try and give that a look this summer too, if I can figure out a not super illegal way to watch it here in Japan. There's probably something I can do, but
only slightly illegal.
I don't want to get thrown in the slammer. That'd be a hell of a way to end my time here.
in Japanese jail.
Yeah, for trying to watch anime online, subtitles.
Specifically because you were watching subbed anime in Japan. You're like, what kind of degenerate freak does this? No.
They prefer dubs. It's weird.
Yeah. They're like, this is the true art.
Yeah. Speaking of dubs, I don't know what that. I don't know what that segue is.
Who won?
Speaking of dubs, the whole Resident Evil franchise is one big dub.
Yeah, especially 6.
Yeah, absolutely. Resident Evil Code Veronica is a high point in many people's eyes. It's really seen as like the true continuation of the Resident Evil series after 2, where like 3 is like seen as like a weird spin-off kind of. But like Sony demanded a game while Capcom was making Veronica for the Dreamcast. And then everyone's like, well, now they got to like after the Resident Evil 2 remake, like 3 years ago, and then the 3 remake, and then everyone's like, oh, well, they got to remake Veronica, right? And then Capcom was apparently remaking Resident Evil 4, and everyone's like, what the fuck? Where's Code Veronica? And then two men, I think it's only 2 men, took it upon themselves to remake Resident Evil Code Veronica in Unity.
Good for them.
Well, I don't know. We'll hold off on the good for thems. Surprisingly, this game is still up and readily downloadable online, even though it's been out for like, this demo has been out for a few weeks with like news stories on all the major sites. Like if this had been a Nintendo game, this would be, these people would be like in prison.
Yeah,
They'd be owing Nintendo so much money.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is Capcom particularly litigious when it comes to like fan games? I actually don't really remember.
I don't know about many Capcom fan games, but you know they let people mod, and like the mod scene around their games is like especially around like Resident Evil is like pretty like excellent.
Yeah,
So they they make stuff that's like moddable, and they don't try and lock stuff down too hard.
They don't freak out about like Mugen and stuff like that with all their fighting game characters. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is Resident Evil Code Veronica. If you like Google or RECV fan remake.webnode.es.
Webno?
Webnode. WEBNODE.es. So I guess they're Spanish. You can download the game in Espanol, Portuguese. Maybe it's like two dudes from like Portugal. I don't know. But yeah, it's a remake of Resident Evil Code Veronica in Unity, using like, at least the Claire demo or model looks like she's from the Resident Evil 2 remake, and then like ported over, and then like some other like custom made models for this game. And it, like, there are parts that look all right. Like some of like the environment textures are like pretty good. Like, oh, these doors, beautiful. Everything else, it's, it looks definitely like a low budget game, but the doors, they're top quality.
Well,
like
that's
way
one up
better
on
than
the
Final Fantasy
Final Fantasy 7
remake
Yeah.
on the old hardware. Apparently the doors are fixed in the PS5 version, but
exactly what I was saying.
yeah. So the funniest thing to me was like starting this demo was, it starts like at the beginning of the game, which is you're in a jail cell on this island, and the guy comes up and he unlocks the jail cell because he's been attacked by a zombie. He's like, I'm dying. You're not going to get out of here, but I'm not going to leave you locked in the cell. That's cruel. But the thing it does is it plays the original cutscenes from the game.
Oh wow, like the Dreamcast
So it
game?
just, yeah, like I think it might even be, it's like the Dreamcast versions. It with Spanish subtitles or Portuguese subtitles. I don't know which ones, but yeah, with like Spanish subtitles. And it might be like a later re-release, but it's like pretty rough, like visual wise. So yeah, like every time there's a cutscene, it's cutting to the original game's cutscenes, which is very funny. And I imagine they're going to like change that later on, and this is just like, hey, proof of concept. Here's like what we're doing, and because it's not like the whole game. Part of me hopes that too, because there's like a lot of other stuff that they should work on, like the game feel. Like it does not feel anywhere near as good as like the as those Resident Evil remakes. Like nowhere near as good as the official remakes. Like the movement is kind of wonky, and like opening doors is like, okay, I have to like get in position, and then I can like hit the E button, and then like you have to like go through a canned animation, and like basically you're loading into a new zone every time, which is weird. But it's not like oh, door opening animation of the old Resident Evil games. It's just like a weird, I don't know how they're doing it, but it seems like it's just like a weird carryover from those old games maybe, and like, oh, we want to do the same kind of thing. They're like distinct zones, but yeah, I don't know, it's weird. And they've expanded on like certain areas, and like made them more expansive and larger, and like added puzzles and stuff like that. I'm not sure how far the demo goes because I did die. That just, that's bound to happen in these janky games. Like the aiming isn't perfect. It's kind of a little swimmy and stuff like that. But it's a neat thing to look at and like see, because like they're making like the environments and stuff are solid and they're faithful to that original game. It's just like the mechanically it feels off, and that's like the thing that I hope they dial in with this, because like Code Veronica is a good game and Capcom should focus on that. Like everyone's played Resident Evil 4 so many times. It's been released
it's
so
on
many
literally
times
every single system
on more platforms than Skyrim. Like, come on, like we can.
Oh, by far.
Oh yeah.
We can
Like,
calm down. We can.
I'm trying to think the last time Code Veronica even got re-released. Was it on like PS3?
PS3, yeah, PS3 360. It's on PlayStation now, so like you can play it there.
Oh.
But
it's just the original game. It's not. No work was done to it really.
I think maybe some upres. It was upres. I played like half of it on PlayStation now, I think.
But yeah,
I'm trying to remember. I think it was upresed, but yeah, like it's not like, it's still like tank controls and very much that like, 1, 2, 3 style of game. 4 is when it broke away, and so yeah, it's there's a lot of like problematic stuff in Code Veronica 2 with like mental health and like sexuality and whatnot, like very problematic stuff, but it's a very interesting and fascinating game.
Trying to find which platforms Resident Evil 4 is on currently.
It'll be GameCube first, PS2, PC, PS3, Wii. Did they put it on Wii U, or it'd probably just be the Wii version?
Let me see.
Switch, the Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS4. They've probably done only one PC release. Did they do a second PC release when they put out 5? Like, did a 5 and 6? Like,
looks like it was just the Wii version on Wii U.
Okay.
There is also iOS and Android versions.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't there a mobile version?
Yeah.
There's no Alexa version, but
in April, there was a version that gave it a first-person perspective that you could do in VR.
Right. Yeah, there's a VR version. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right.
So,
forgot about that.
It's friggin' everywhere.
Yeah.
Whereas Code Veronica, it deserves better.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good game, and like if they tackled it like in the style of Resident Evil like 2 and 3 remake, where they're willing to change things, and like that would be good for this game, where like you could keep most of it intact but like make it not so like shitty about some things like Alfred and whatnot.
Resident Evil 4 was ported to the Zeebo.
So yeah,
what is the Zeebo? Well, you're just making words up. That's not a thing.
It's apparently an educational console that's marketed at like places like Brazil and Mexico, apparently.
Okay, sure.
But it's on the Zeebo. I was just like looking at platforms for Resident Evil 4, and I was like, okay, GameCube, PlayStation 2, okay, Windows, Wii, iOS, Zeebo, and I was like, excuse me. So I needed to go down that rabbit hole right now.
When you Google Zeebo, it's one of the first pictures, at least for me, is Resident Evil 4 on the Zeebo.
Like, if you're going to make an educational platform, what better game to put on it than Resident Evil 4?
Resident Evil 4, yeah.
Very educational about Spain.
It looks absolutely terrible.
Oh God, that looks like ass.
Yeah, like it looks like a sub PS2 game.
Hell
like,
yeah, it's
better than PS1. It's like better than PS1, but worse than PS2. Like the HUD is different.
Looks real bad.
It looks like a super high res PS1 game. Yeah.
Okay. So question, kind of back to this fan remake.
Yeah.
So you said that the doors look real good.
Yeah.
What are some top tier doors that have showed up in games for you
Like, overall,
overall? Like obviously Resident Evil 7 or sorry, Final Fantasy 7 remake, the original release.
no contest.
No. Like the new one,
No, yeah.
much better, but
the
disqualified.
absolute doo-doo in that first release, which was like actually honestly a little distracting at times. Like the textures in general in that game were weird.
Yeah, I would say Half-Life 2 had really good doors. Like, in the first scene, you're like looking through that little door window.
Sure, yeah.
Or multiple of them. So you're seeing those doors pretty close.
Let's see. Resident Evil 4 had pretty good doors. You could like shoot through them. Like certain doors. Like the wooden doors you could shoot through. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I had another one. Any door that like I think Dishonored was pretty good about like you could like push on doors like a little bit and like kind of peek through them. That's always fun.
Let's see. Where you could either open the door gently or like kick it open? Was that Call of Duty or was there another one?
There's a lot of those.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
There's a very specific one, but I can't remember it.
Yeah. I know what you mean, and I can't think of it, but yeah, that's always a fun interaction with doors. Actually, my next game, you can kick doors open in my next game, which is Cruelty Squad.
Oh yeah.
Which is an absolute nightmare of a game, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Cruelty Squad, like you will think you're hallucinating if you just like look up Cruelty Squad right now, or if you like watch someone play, you'll be like, what am I looking at?
Doing that right now.
It's got absolutely like, it looks like a joke. Like it just looks like someone's trying,
like a good joke.
Someone's pranking you, like, oh, check out this game, and then like it's like, did you ever play like Game of the Year 420 Blaze It?
Yeah, of course.
So it's like
I love that.
So like that, like it doesn't like that looked like photo, like looked good, quote unquote. Sure. Had like a photorealistic gun or whatever. But like, there's something like without like all the memes, but like there's something like that is like it's like there's a lot happening on screen, and like it's all very like disjointed and doesn't look like it belongs together. It also looks like kind of like a 90s FMV game in some ways. Like
you comparing it to Game of the Year 420 Blaze It has instantly sold me, because I fucking love that thing. Is Shrek in this? Because he was in 420 Blaze It.
I mean, he could be. But so yeah, it's got like nightmare like phantasmagoria like kind of art in it, and just like very bizarre. Like I don't even know how to describe it. You have to like look at Cruelty Squad to really understand. But it's like, it looks like a joke, but it's not playing it as a joke. It's like playing it pretty straight. At least, there's humor to it, but it's not like, haha, isn't this funny that we're making you look at this shitty game? It's very much like, it's playing everything straight, and there's like, it doesn't explain anything to you up front. It's just like, here's a menu. There's a stock market. Fish is on the market. You can buy fish on this market for some reason. You can buy parts, whatever that means. I think it's body parts. Like, because I killed a guy and then it said like spleen acquired, and I was like, what? This game is kind of an immersive sim.
Okay.
It's like, it's not as like Clockwork, or like doesn't have quite as many options as something like a Dishonored or a Prey, but it does give you like, okay, you can like have multiple options on your approach. Like you can kind of like go through the vents, or like hop a fence and go around this way, or like go in the front door, or stuff like that.
Are you being guided by some kind of bear in a trucker hat?
Yeah, he's kind of like your handler. You're like an assassin.
Okay.
And you're being sent. You're like a corporate assassin. And you're being like, yeah, basically you're sent. The company basically keeps reanimating your body or like regenerating your body and then sending you off on these missions to like kill like competing CEOs or like business partners who have like, you know, reneged on their contracts or like, you know, done something shady. And part of the stock market mini game is you can buy stock in something if like, oh, this mission is going to like take this company's stock down, so I'm going to sell all my stock because it's about to crash, or it's going to boost this other stock up, so I'm going to buy a bunch of stock in that because it's going to go up. I don't know. It seems very bizarre. There's a whole upgrade system where you're buying like speed improvements or like jump improvements, but the jump improvements are like you shoot shit out of your back, like holes open in your back, and like just garbage comes out of them, or like it's very bizarre.
What,
and
like Chinese takeout containers garbage, or like
I don't know. I haven't made enough money to unlock these abilities. Let's see if I can find something.
it looks so bizarre.
Life sensor, slot head, often said to be able to sense the life energy of any living being. The mechanism is actually the opposite, allows you to sense holes in the background death matrix. Like what?
Of course.
Yeah.
This
like the Alex.
Looking at it, just watching video, I haven't played it. I don't know how it feels, but it kind of evokes like, you know, Ape Out, Allison, like, you know, just that feel that it's like frenetic, but
like
just
that
very
energy,
bold, like that very bold art style, and it's just always moving in like really intense ways. It's like that, but it also kind of looks like Duke Nukem 3D.
Yeah, there's like it's very lo-fi, and like definitely like you're getting open spaces where you can like explore and run around and do stuff. Yeah, it's got a little bit of that, I guess. Yeah,
like, which isn't a bad thing. Duke 3D is a great game. This just looks great and weird.
it is very strange. It's difficult. Like you're gonna die a lot because like the enemies are like super unpredictable and random. Like they just like kind of run around like madmen, and
Madmen.
you
so
know,
John Hamm is in it.
Yeah, John Hamm. I don't know. It could be. I don't know. Could be like sent to assassinate him at some point. Who knows? But it's just very, very strange. And like you can like eat corpses, I guess, to regenerate health.
Yeah.
Just
that's how it works in real life.
As you do.
Yeah, it's very strange. And if you're into like weird shooters with like an anti-capitalist bent, then maybe check out Cruelty Squad. This guy, why he's running sideways on a wall? Like I don't even know what's happening here. Like
how are the doors?
They're better than the Resident Evil Code Veronica remake doors in terms of responsiveness. But they don't look as good. They're not as high fidelity, but there are like many varieties of doors and designs on the doors. So you can kick the doors open, which is nice.
All right.
Yeah, so that's always a plus. Resident Evil 4, you can kick the doors open.
You can.
You can push it slowly, or you can kick them open. That's what it is. Is that the one you were thinking of?
It might have been. I think I might have also been considering Hotline Miami.
Maybe, yeah. That's another one with doors you can slowly.
No, those are good doors.
Yeah.
Well, there's that one.
You can take people out with those doors.
Like there's one. One of the masks that you can use where you can kill people with doors. So one of my really dumb strategies that worked surprisingly well would be to shoot a gun, have people coming and be like, "Hey," and then killing them all with the door.
Yeah. That's a valid strategy.
and then I was like, well, I did it. I killed them all basically to lure them in and then killing them with the door. So that is a good door.
Yeah. That'll do, door. That'll do. Cruelty Squad is
door in the city.
I think Cruelty Squad, you need to be in the right mind space for it because it is just like
How?
sensory overload. So you need to be like, you need to open up your third eye and just like take it all in, because it is like it's not going to explain itself to you really. It's just gonna be like, here you are, and like, you know, there's a little bit of a tutorial area, but for the most part, like everything else is just like figure it out. Like the tutorial is just like, here's how you like look around a corner and like crouch and stuff like that.
Yeah. That seems like a game that would be improved by playing on a CRT monitor.
Sure. Yeah, maybe.
Just looking at it, it seems like it would be bonkers.
Definitely. Like just this one quote is very funny. Someone posted this on Twitter, I guess. Screenshot. Hey, it's me. Did I wake you up from your depression nap? Like,
What a mood.
Yep. It's like the writing is very strange, and like, you know, hints at like lots of like more world building stuff, and like yeah, I really don't know what your handler is supposed to be. He's just like some sort of meat monster. It's very
With a trucker
unsettling.
hat.
As
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah, it's I just don't even know. Cruelty Squad. It's on Steam. $20. Check it out.
Get it?
Just like we're about to check out the news.
Woo.
Making good time this week.
We've been making pretty good time recently.
Yeah. We've been smaller podcasts the past few weeks.
Yeah. Not a bad thing, I don't think.
I'm about to be on vacation, so it's over. I'm all games all the time. I installed Pillars of Eternity.
Oh no.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes. I'll probably fall off, but
Looking at acronyms, I always mix up Pillars of Eternity
Path
and
of
Path of Exile.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I don't see people talk about either one very often, but if I do, if I do see someone talk about Path of Exile, they're probably talking about the skill tree at the same time. So it's like, oh, okay, it's talking about Path of Exile. So it's easy to tell. But yeah, news this week. Everyone got the news they've been waiting for with bated breath. Like about a month now, we've been waiting more. We've been waiting.
Oh,
here
it's been
about
it's like a lifetime.
fucking year. Yeah.
the new. I mean, yeah, rumors have been abound for quite a while, like maybe 2+ years now, about the new Nintendo Switch model, which everyone has been waiting for.
Yeah.
It's doing what everyone wants.
Yep.
Finally,
All the rumors.
the kickstand is improved.
Yeah.
Yes.
There we go.
That kickstand
Smash.
sucks.
Yeah.
To be fair, the kickstand on the original is terrible.
I was using my Switch within the past 2 weeks and was doing barely anything with it, and the kickstand just came flying off. So
I've tried
It's a
using
sign
it in the
planned
past, but I'm like,
obsolescence.
I'd rather use literally anything else to prop up my Switch than the kickstand. I have my Switch here, and it's like, oh god, that's gonna.
it's gonna fly off.
It's gonna fly off. Yeah, no.
Don't worry, because they've also addressed one of the other many complaints that people have about the Switch. The most important one. Finally, Smash players and fighting game players can breathe easy because there's an Ethernet jack connected directly to the new
I know
dock.
people who are legit really excited about that though.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of people, Smash players especially.
Yeah.
Scrub quotes will now not have to, there's more precedent, but we'll see how many people get their hands on this dock. I wonder if the dock is sold separately too, or if it'll only be with this new model, which also has the exact same Joy-Con design.
Woo!
That's right.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah! Love
it
that
ain't
drift.
broke,
I love that Tokyo
don't
drift
fix
of
it.
gaming. Yeah.
If it is broke, don't fix it either.
Yeah. Duh.
And then finally, the meat of the rumors that everyone's been talking about for the past 2 years, there's an OLED screen
Yeah.
that will play games at the blistering high resolution of 1080p up to 60 frames per second.
Shit.
When docked,
When docked, yes.
not using the OLED screen.
Yeah.
720p if you're OLED.
Yep. Which is very funny. They dropped this news on like Wednesday morning, Thursday morning.
Yeah.
It was like
And
11 p.m. Japan time, whenever it was.
and people were certainly whelmed.
Yeah.
I
It was. As the resident Nintendo defender.
I know I'm probably gonna buy it, but it's like I do think that I do play like 99.9% of my Switch time is handheld, and so that OLED screen seems real nice. But at the same time, it's I think part of it was people building it up, because also the Switch they're not even calling it like a Pro. They're like OLED
because
version.
this isn't. Because the only difference is like the screen and then like the kickstand.
They're like, hey, here's a new model of the Switch. It's an OLED screen. It's it has the Ethernet jack, and there's better, bigger storage and everything. But it's like, people were predicting like weird ass shit that like was never gonna happen.
I mean, Bloomberg reported on like there's gonna be like it's gonna have DLSS and like 4K output and stuff like that. Bloomberg doesn't just like doesn't say things just to say them.
That's probably coming. I've been talking with a lot of developers, like people I know who have made Switch games and things like that, and I think MVG also did a video to the same extent where basically it's like, no one was expecting, like no Switch developer was expecting that DLSS 4K version to come out this year at all. If anything, if it's coming, it'll be next year, because like dev kits have not shown up for that thing yet. And
exactly,
like those have to show up early if people are going to use them. So
if people are actually going to make stuff to justify that.
Exactly. So one thing that did come up with those conversations, and I'd recommend the MVG video if you haven't seen it, is talking about how there's one improvement they could have made, which would have been transparent and would have made developers' lives so much easier, and that would have been just a RAM upgrade. Because I think I mentioned last week.
I think there's been rumors that it does have a RAM upgrade, but people don't know. Oh,
it doesn't. It's been confirmed not to.
Okay.
It's still 4 gigs where you can only access 3.2 gigs. The OS takes up the rest. Yeah. And the memory transfer rate is exactly the same. So it's like basically the same as like DDR3.
Well, it says that the OLED dev kit has an extra.
The dev kit has extra.
Yeah.
But that's just for debug
That's just
tools.
the dev kit? Okay.
Yeah, that's just the dev kit. The console itself has been confirmed to have 4 gigs with 3.2 reserved for them, and with pretty low memory transfer speeds, which is bad, because it's the thing I was talking about I think last week, where Switch games, like third parties, are just going to want to stop making Switch ports because it takes them a lot of work to make Switch ports.
I don't agree with that, because it's like the Switch
2019 version of their soccer game
is so the install base is just so crazy for the Switch.
Yeah, but it's also a lot of extra work.
Yeah, but it's a lot of extra work with the potential for a lot of extra money.
There are like certain studios and certain games will continue, like indie games for the like 2D, like there are certain indie games, especially ones that aren't like reliant on like frame rate. Like I was hearing people talk about Waypoint Radio talking about Boomerang X, which is only on like PC and Switch, and apparently
there's
the Switch
a lot
version
of
is just like it's fine, but it's not like consistent enough for that game. And so like if games are going to, like those kinds of games are going to start being consistently below like what they need to be to make them like a compromised experience, I imagine like fewer and fewer of like the variety of games will start to wean. And then there will be like Nintendo games, which is always what happens with Nintendo systems. And there'll be like Just Dance or whatever. Let's Dance, like Just Dance.
Ubisoft will still be there.
Like
making
Rabbids games and
but like we were even talking about this like 2 years ago with AI the Somnium Files, because that game is terrible on Switch, especially when you get to the later sections, and it's purely memory. So like it was bad memory in 2017. So the fact, like, if they could have just done that small upgrade that would have been relatively transparent, like people playing it probably wouldn't even have noticed. It would have made developers' lives so much better.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Is RAM affected at all by the chip shortage?
No.
No. Okay. Yeah. So like that's
really.
kind of like, a lot of people saying like probably the reason this is only like basically a screen, like a cosmetic upgrade, is basically because of like the chip shortage, like getting like, you know, enough to like actually make a feasible like run at like launching a new hardware.
Yeah.
At this point would be kind of hopeless, and like there's no guarantee that like next year things will be like much better, but at least like there's a little bit more time to like build up to that point or whatever.
Yeah. The DLSS thing would have been cool, but
yeah,
I think that was kind of pie in the sky dreaming.
I mean, I think NVIDIA, I think the case for NVIDIA wanting to like get more devs to support it, and by putting it like getting it on like a chip that's in the Switch, and then like also if they're doing mobile chips, and you know they can get that in more like handheld things, like you know more like another Shield TV, or like you know another like Shield handheld, or like get like chips and phones, or you know like partner with Snapdragon and like get DLSS like NVIDIA stuff built into that or whatever.
Oh, like Qualcomm stuff.
Yeah. Like you know if they can do something like that, because like the AMD stuff, the super resolution is like not proprietary and like not so like accessible to more people, whereas the DLSS is you know NVIDIA's own thing, and they lock it down and whatever. If they can get it on like if they can get it on a Switch where that's more powerful, so people actually want to make games and put those games out on the Switch, then they'll probably also be doing like DLSS stuff, so it'll just be built into a lot more games that way, because it'll already be like trained on it because of the Switch.
Yeah, it would be nice. I can see that coming with the next iteration, like whatever's coming next year or the year after.
Yeah.
The thing that seems like more companies are probably going to lean on to get around the issues is probably more of those streaming versions.
Yeah. Like there are plenty of games that like there are plenty of games that like don't come out on Switch just because you know they're like you know Assassin's Creed or whatever doesn't come out on Switch, and you know they don't see a reason to put it out, I assume, because they could do like a streaming version, but that stuff has seemed like it's been pretty hit or miss. Like I don't see people talking about like playing Hitman on the Switch, because you know if you're already, I'm sure there are people playing it, but if you're interested in those games, you're probably just going to go, I'm going to play it on the console that can actually run it and doesn't, you know, because if I have to play it, I'm probably at home, or if I'm going to play it, I'm probably at home. And then I don't know if like the streaming stuff, like how that works with like sleeping, like if you if like do you have to like save, or can you sleep it? But you know Hitman's weird because it's always online and stuff like that. It's complicated.
What controls the other one, right? Because that's a single player game without online connectivity.
I didn't even know they did streaming stuff. I know they did Resident Evil 7, and it sounded like that wasn't like super great. That was the first one they did, and it sounded like it was kind of iffy. Maybe it's gotten better, but yeah.
But yeah, I imagine more companies will lean on that rather than doing straight up Switch ports, because it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Like the fact that they put The Witcher 3 on Switch is still like, what? Yeah. Really? But you know, the improvements to the Switch are good, and like I would, if I played my Switch handheld, I would consider, if I played my Switch at all, I would consider like the OLED upgrade, just because like the bigger screen going from like 6.2 to 7 inches, get rid of that bezel, get that bezel out of here.
Yeah, it is that's a pretty decently big screen upsize.
Yeah.
Like you'll notice it. You'll definitely notice it.
Yeah. It's like, there's, it seems like a solid, like, step in the right direction. Like, Nintendo's always doing like the XL and stuff like that, and then eventually they put out like the bigger console or whatever. Sometimes they put out the smaller one, the micro,
the Switch I.
A Switch Micro, and it's just the size of a Game Boy Micro, but it's a Switch. But the Joy-Cons are the same size.
So you just got these big old Joy-Cons and this little tiny screen. You're just It's basically like the what is it? The Switch controller thing that you snap it into that it comes with.
Yeah,
it's like that,
the grip.
like basically that size.
Little OLED screen looks like it's basically like a Dreamcast controller with a VMU.
Hell
yeah. Playing Mario Golf on there. Breath of the Wild 2 on that tiny little 1-inch screen. Yeah. That's the future, ladies and gentlemen.
WarioWare. Micro games on the micro Switch.
Next up, that's your Nintendo news for the week. Next up, we got I missed this. Apex Legends had some hacking over the weekend or over the week, over the last week. I don't know when it happened. It happened around 4th of July. It sounded like last weekend.
Yeah, it was on the Sunday.
And Apex hackers filled the game with messages complaining about Titanfall hackers.
Yeah, like
pot,
basically
kettle pot.
Yeah, it was like I forget exactly how it manifested. It was something like it showed up as a playlist, like you could like where you would normally like say I'm going to play with a squad or a 2-person thing or whatever. The only thing you could select was savetitanfall.com or something to that extent. And it's like if you search for it, all it would do is like bring up a picture that says, save Titanfall. It's like Titanfall 1 is unplayable because of hackers, which it sounds like is a very legitimate problem. Like it sounds like Titanfall 1 is still on sale on places like Origin and PlayStation Store and things like that, and is utterly unplayable because it's the kind of thing where you walk in there and people are sniping you from the other side of the map through walls and stuff like that just immediately.
You know what? I'm at savetitanfall.com. Surprisingly, professionally put together.
Yeah.
So.
Is it made with Squarespace?
Let's see. Powered by NS. I don't know what NS is.
NS, I don't know.
Oh, no skill community.
Switch.
No, that's
micro.
There's no like Squarespace or like Wix or any sort of branding on their page. So
it is a legit website made by those who want to save Titanfall.
Yeah, like it's it looks like someone like took the time, really like thought out like the design. Props if
to
this
them.
is hey, this doesn't seem like some like make Kojima not put a game on Xbox, like this isn't that.
Oh
this
God.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. that whole thing, but yeah. Okay, well, no, it sounded like the people at Respawn were like, yo, what the fuck, like this does not make us want to help you at all, because we have to work on a Sunday, on our day off.
Weekend.
Yeah, a long weekend. We're supposed to be out, and now we have to come try to fix this bullshit.
There was the story of the Apex dev who was holding his newborn niece and then got informed that this hack was happening, so he had to hand the newborn niece back and go back to work. Being like, well, okay, thanks.
Find the people responsible and ban them all, especially from Titanfall 1.
Jeez. Yeah.
But yeah, hey, don't be dicks to devs.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like,
it should go without saying, but apparently it needs to be said.
They're complaining about Titanfall 1. Like, Come on. Like, what are you expecting here, people? Anyway, next news story. Sony did their first event of the summer. It sounds like they're going to have one maybe in September. That's the rumor now. And they said like, oh, there'll be something later. So this was their first state of play, 30 minutes. They set expectations ahead of time. They said 30 minutes, 9 minutes of Deathloop, which, do we need more Deathloop? I'm excited for Deathloop. No, I don't think so, but
I think anybody who's going to play Deathloop is already going to play Deathloop, whether or not
I saw people saying like
gameplay.
This was the presentation that sold them on it.
Oh, okay.
And you know,
fair enough.
I am someone who already liked Arcane, and like, you know, I'm whatever they put out, I'm gonna give a chance. Like, you know, I'm gonna go like this summer. I'm going to install Arx Fatalis on Game Pass and try that out because I have never played Arx Fatalis. But Arcane makes good games, so I want to support them and check it out, and you know, all that good stuff. But like, yeah, that demo looked fine, but it also looked it looked like the powers were cooler. Like it felt a little more like Unleashed than Dishonored. Like you can like kind of like combo powers more easily at a distance, and like, so like make some like explosions happen and stuff like that with like traps and whatever. That stuff all looked cool. And there's not like I can't like leave any bodies behind because like chaos or whatever. It's not limiting you in that way, or like letting you self-impose those restrictions on you, or putting consequences on if you screw up or whatever. But yeah, it looks like if they just took the chains off of Dishonored, which, hey, that's fine with me. The only thing I'm questioning is, do I want to play it on PS5 or do I want to get it on PC? I don't know. Because like I want to play that game. It comes out like after I'm done with summer vacation though. That's so cruel. It's absolutely balls. Which means I'll probably get it on PS5, but
what else was on the event? I didn't actually watch it. So
they had Hunters Arena Legends, which is going to be the PS Plus game next month, which is a battle royale with some fighting game style mechanics in it. Like it's kind of like if you made For Honor a battle royale. I think, based on what I think I know of For Honor, there's like a bunch of different like fighting game stuff, and like you can like kind of jump off like high ground and like sneak attack people and stuff like that. It seems similar to that Naraka Blade Point game, but like more fighting game than like action game. What else was at the state of play off the top of my head? I'm trying to remember and I'm having trouble. It was all third party stuff.
it looks like Death Stranding showed up at some point.
Oh yeah, Death Stranding. They showed off like the stuff they're adding in the director's cut, which is stuff like new combat moves, like, you know, more melee stuff. I think there's like turret sequences, but like you shouldn't be killing people in that game. They put in a catapult for like cargo, so you can just like shoot your cargo across the map, which is fun. There's a racetrack.
Does it still damage it?
I don't know. They put in a racetrack. I don't know, man. Like I'm not gonna play that game again. So
yeah,
like they're charging people $10 to upgrade to the director's cut, which is funny because I was looking on Amazon Japan, and in Amazon Japan, the PS5 version is the director's cut. It's like $50, brand new, not price reduced. That is the list price. It's like $50, which is very funny to me because like Resident Evil 7 remake on the PS5 is like $90.
Oh,
so game prices all over the place.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there was that. They showed the Kimetsu no Yaiba game, which I don't know. Probably not going to be good, just in my opinion. Also, I guess it's only like the first like 2 arcs of like that manga's finished. The anime isn't finished, so I guess like they don't want to like get too ahead of the anime, but like they haven't. That's not like a long story or anything. So with what they're doing is not. I don't know. It seems weird to me. Yeah. I'm whatever. Sifu. They showed more Sifu and like,
right.
which is the martial arts game. Yeah, it got delayed in 2022,
Delayed, yeah.
but it still looks good. Looks cool. Fist Forged in Shadowtech, which I played at Bit Summit
right.
2 years ago, which is like the rabbit with a big arm, big fist, the robot fist.
Yeah.
I guess it's animals fighting against robots, I think. Hunter's Arena. Arcadeageddon, which is, I guess, early access. I don't know if it's free to play. It's also on the Epic Game Store. I saw some early buzz saying it's fun. It's from the Hunting Grounds, the Friday the 13th developer, Ilphonic.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's co-op loot shooter in a colorful cyberpunk future. I think it's early access right now, which is weird because like PS5 doesn't usually do like early access stuff, but they deliberately called it early access. And then a Moss sequel for PSVR later this year.
Oh, Moss being like the little mouse thing?
Yeah, Moss Book 2. So they're still putting out like, PSVR games. So that's something. Arcadeageddon is $20. But it seems like it's got some positive buzz. It looks kind of neat, I guess. But it's another... Oh, yeah?
It looks kind of Splatoon-y.
Sure. Yeah, I could kind of see that.
Just kind of looking at it.
It's there's like mini games in it too, where like I guess you're playing like arcade kind of like games. Like there's like a soccer basketball type thing and like a King of the Hill type thing and stuff like that. I don't know. Sounds like people are enjoying it. And I had something else and I lost it, but that's okay. Yeah. So that state of play. I think personally that they set expectations perfectly fine. And while I wasn't like, oh yeah, about everything, and I saw some things like, oh, that's neat. Like maybe I'll check that out. Like Hunter's Arena, when that hits PS Plus, I'll download it. I'll play a few rounds. Arcadeageddon, if I had people to play with, I would play it. But time zones and all that stuff makes it difficult. Sifu, I'm excited for. Death Stranding, I already played that game. I beat that game. I don't need to go back to it. There's nothing they could add that would like. I didn't even sound like there was story stuff added. At least not that I saw. But I kind of wasn't paying super close attention. So like, assuming they do like a bigger presentation later in the summer, like that's fine. Like if they had something coming out sooner, then I think they would talk about it. But like people need to chill out with like this fascination with like we need to know everything they're doing. Like no, you don't. So, like the game will come out and like it's fun to be excited about games, but also like you don't need to know everything about a game and then like harass the devs for 6 months because you thought the puddles like were reduced or something. It's just silly.
Gamers
so yeah,
are
state of play.
very vocal.
Yeah, I could see like as criticism, like this is following up on Microsoft and Nintendo's E3 showings, but this is like a month later, very much not E3. They said, hey, third party Deathloop is like 9 minutes. Like I think it's fine. Some people got their panties in a bunch, but yeah, seems like the console war stuff is worse than ever.
Yay.
Yeah.
Also, worse than ever. Whatever the shit Tencent is doing. What is even?
Oh yeah.
You'll need to tell me about this, Alex. I have They're adding
Which one?
facial recognition to their games to catch minors playing games at night.
Yeah, apparently this is a restriction being imposed by the Chinese government.
On like mobile or on like...
Yes.
Let's see.
Okay.
I'm scanning an article.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might be able to pull up the same article, but it's,
Yeah.
I believe it was in mobile games. I think they call it the Midnight Patrol system.
Yeah.
This is like
it's-
pretty common. I was seeing a story about something related to this in Korea as well.
Yeah, like it's basically to stop kids who are like the proposed reason for it is to stop kids who are like getting game addicted and playing from like 10 at night until wee hours of the morning,
Yeah.
and like potentially like making fiscally irresponsible decisions with their parents' phones
Yeah.
and things like that.
Yeah, but it does affect a lot of people too, because apparently if you're an adult and when you're playing these games, you're prompted for a facial scan, but you can refuse. But at that point, they're like, okay, so then we're going to assume you're a minor and boot you out of the game. It's like,
God.
yay.
There's something with like Korea has like a curfew basically on games like midnight to 6 a.m. where like it'll log you out, but somehow, or like it won't let your account. It'll basically kick off your account or whatever. But somehow this has led to a game. I can't remember which game, but basically getting like the equivalent of like an AO rating in Korea because of like this curfew, and then also like is very strange.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that too, where it's like that.
I don't know what game it was.
Yeah, I can't either, but was it Minecraft?
Maybe Minecraft getting changed to like an adults only game, I think. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, it's Minecraft.
I didn't hear about that. That's
Yeah.
This is like
oh god.
Minecraft.
Don't Google adult only Minecraft.
Oh god, no! I just googled Minecraft Korea, which is, I think,
Yeah.
which is a
Minecraft
lot
has become
safer.
Yes, it is.
Minecraft has become an adult-only title in South Korea thanks to Xbox Live accounts in the region only being available to people over the age of 19.
Huh.
Yeah.
19?
Yeah. So so there was
Because
something
that's Korean
with like
age stuff.
so yeah, there was something with like there's the accounts. You have to log in to Minecraft with a Microsoft account now in Korea or like in general. I don't know exactly how it works. And so because you have to do that, you can't use the other accounts. And so Microsoft just like, you have to be an adult. So we don't have to put these restrictions on you. So you have to be like 19 to play Minecraft, which is very silly. Yeah.
It's so weird. So like, sorry. And for clarity, that means like, even if you're playing it not at weird hours, like in the middle of the day, you still are required to be over 19.
Yes,
Yeah.
to play. You need, I mean, like you need an account that says you're 19.
Weird.
So,
Because like in North America, Minecraft is in freaking schools,
Oh
like
yeah.
elementary schools.
but yeah, America doesn't have
Yeah, and
like
I think that
curfew laws on video games and stuff.
yeah, and I think that Microsoft is apparently trying to get around it or figure something out. Like, but yeah, no, it's
Korea's a big market.
yeah. Oh yeah, it's a big game market, but
I don't know how big it is for like Microsoft or
Minecraft?
Xbox, but like
Yeah.
well, yeah, but yeah, so Minecraft, I guess so they don't want to add systems to identify minors, so they're just saying you have to be 19 to have an Xbox Live account to like avoid like having to add in a bunch of extra shit. So yeah, it's weird. And like the we must protect the children from games is like such a bizarre
Yeah,
thing.
because I mean, I don't know. It's like on the one hand, yeah, you shouldn't be overplaying games, and if there's an addiction, then you should figure that out. But at the same time, like
we're also just getting out of a global pandemic where people couldn't leave their homes for a year.
right,
Yeah,
and
but
and like especially like over, I don't know, when you're on a school break, like who cares? And
Yeah.
I don't know, there's like a million reasons why you might be playing a game after midnight, or in China's case after 10. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
like
I got like zero sleep in high school, but I mean, I also
the
didn't need as
teens are
much
bad
sleep.
at sleeping, and like teens naturally want to like stay up and like
when I was in high school, there were quite a few days where I did not get very much sleep, but it was like I didn't necessarily crave it as much as now I'm like, man, I'm so excited to go to sleep. But
yeah, like to an extent with the Tencent thing, I kind of get why it could be an okay thing. Like, I can see like the argument of parent who kid steals their phone and spends $10,000 on a gacha game overnight. Like, if that is indeed a thing that happens, sure, I get it. But I think there's a lot to be scrutinized specifically with this because Tencent has very direct ties to Chinese government.
Yeah.
And
right,
the idea of incorporating facial recognition directly into people's phones and stuff like that does feel
and it's apparently cooperating with the existing databases in China.
I'm sure, yeah.
And the existing government data, and it's like,
which is not to like turn the Chinese government into a boogeyman.
No,
it's more the fact that
it's something
the Chinese government they don't care about privacy very much.
Yeah, and that there's a lot more of a like a lot of things that are kind of regulated by society elsewhere are government regulated, like with this whole social capital thing in China. Like that, I mean, it's like you don't want to make it to be a boogeyman, but those things do exist.
Yeah.
Like there's social credit.
But there's like, I don't know, with like this, you know, the kids stealing a phone or whatever, like there are parental controls on those things, and like if you're going to if you're going to be letting your kid use your phone to play games, which would presumably be the reason they want to steal your phone to play the game, is because you've been letting them do that.
I mean, hell,
so they already have, you know, that experience playing the game or whatever.
I use facial recognition on my iPhone to, you know, to unlock my phone. So it's like, that's, you know, I mean, there's definitely options too, especially for like paying money. Like anytime I pay money, I either need my password or my face.
Yeah, but you know, you put in the parental controls or whatever, and like, you know, you would figure people would be doing that, and you should be doing that if you're letting your kids use your phones, because come on, they're kids. Like they don't know what money is.
The nanny state part of it becomes a little bit iffy.
It's definitely like, oh, we must protect the children, and then also like you know, very controlling and like very much trying to get them in line with what they want society to be. And lots of societies do that. Like America does the same kind of thing for your, like, you know, through the education system and all that kind of stuff. So that's not like, oh, China, big bad. No, like, of course not.
I don't know if it's worth noting the fact that none of us are parents. So I guess
none
of us have that. None of us have that particular perspective. So maybe there are parents out there that are like, yeah, I would totally use this. But for me,
as somebody,
if I were, I wouldn't.
Like, I've talked to my parents about video games like before, because basically they don't have any interest in them at all. But I was able to play a lot of them, but I wasn't allowed to play a lot of really violent ones when I was a kid, which I'm not like, I understand. But at the same time, like they didn't make it like, I don't know, like I always knew kids who are like, oh, I'm not allowed to have it, but that makes it this kind of forbidden thing. Whereas like having kind of a healthy relationship is like talking about it and working with your kids to say, hey, you can play this game, but not this game. Or maybe we don't need to spend this subscription fee or this gotcha thing, or I don't know. And I think that's
it
made me
definitely
like
becomes like how much room do you want to give like your teenager versus how much monitoring do you do of like your, pre-adolescent or whatever.
right.
Yeah, totally.
Very, very tricky. And I do not look forward to whatever nightmare internet landscape exists if I ever have kids.
Yep, that's
Like, at least we're like people our age many of us are media literate. Not everyone, but many of us are media literate, which is, we grew up with like seeing the internet change and like seeing all these things. Whereas a lot of people like our parents are like, kind of older than us still like, they don't necessarily understand the way things change or, beyond like Facebook or whatever, they don't really know what's going on. Like what's a TikTok? What's an Atelier Online?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'm getting to that point of what's a TikTok.
Do I look like I know what a JPEG is?
Bobby. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like it's a tough question. That's a tough thing to worry about. And like you said, none of us are parents, so none of us are like having to deal with raising a kid in this increasingly.
I will say,
media.
If I have a kid, the fuck you are putting their face in like a facial recognition.
Oh yeah,
database.
totally.
Absolutely not.
The fuck out of here.
Absolutely not. That's no.
Yeah. Next up on our story, we got another Tencent one. I don't know what this means. Tencent Studios, Lightspeed, and Quantum are calling for an end to 996 working hours. Is that 990? What is it like? It's like, I don't know what this means.
No, so 996 it's a really common system in China specifically.
Okay.
And you find it in like the big cities like Beijing and Shanghai and Shenzhen and stuff like that, where it basically refers to working 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. And like that's kind
yikes.
of that's very common in those cities for like everybody, for anybody working. So
God.
and like that's just that has become the norm in a lot of those big cities, especially in tech.
Yeah.
But this specific Tencent studio is saying, fuck that. No, let's stop that because that's burning people out.
Because that's a fuck ton of hours.
It's like 72 hours per week or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
As being the standard.
As the standard. Yes.
Yeah.
Like that's just what people do. So
yeah,
996 it's become somewhat controversial. I think there's an Asian Boss video that's interviewing people about how they feel about it. If you've not watched Asian Boss, that channel kicks ass.
That channel is so good. I love
really,
them.
really good. Yeah,
they put together really great stuff.
Yeah, but let's see. Yeah, there is one called "Do All Chinese People Follow Jack Ma's 996?" So that is a video that's you can get a little bit of perspective on it if you want. But yeah, they need to stop that because people are gonna fucking die. Like,
oh, they do.
Yeah,
100% they do. Like, I mean, it happens in Japan too, and like the hours are often similar here, and like the Japanese government just actually this year put out like a thing suggesting that companies look at doing 4-day work weeks, and then like encouraging employees to do like, take like a class on like your day off or one of those days off or, something like that, like, self-improvement stuff or take care of your kids, do what you need to do. But that was just like a suggestion, not like we want companies to start doing this. I think like Microsoft Japan did it and they were like, hey, productivity went up.
Yeah. It turns out overworking people doesn't, lead to increased productivity. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah. They just want like time spent working, not quality of work. And which is like very silly. And
that's like, it turns into weird like KPIs and weird metrics that people try and measure as some form of like, you're being productive, but no, like with a previous job, because I haven't talked about it on the podcast. I'm currently fun employed for another 2 days. Haha. But with a previous job, who knows where, they were trying to say like however many lines of code you write is how productive you are. And I'm like,
that seems
that makes
stupid.
no
I'm sorry.
sense. So what you're saying is I could make something extremely inefficient that runs over the course of like 1,000 lines, where no, I could just write it in 2 lines, but making 2 lines means I did less work. Like it's that it starts running into that kind of thing.
It ignores the realities.
Smarter, not harder.
Okay, like let's be real. On an 8-hour workday, are any of you spending literally all 8 hours working?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, same here.
I'm getting closer to that, but that's just because my current job is busy. But
sure, but like in your case,
some people absolutely are. But
I mean, also we have like specific break times, and we have specific lunch time, and by productive, it gets different in terms of like taking time after doing a task to research and make it better, but. Yeah,
like, and you're doing more or less a servicey kind of job, so it's like
exactly.
you have to be available, so that's a little bit different. Yeah. Whereas, like for me, like code, like there's no way I'm doing.
But especially like when I was working more of a like where it was less like customer servicey. Like there were times where I'd be like, I don't know, time to fuck around online for a while. Yeah, and everybody does that.
Yeah. I mean, because. With my job, I have like so much free time. I read like 6 books in the span of like 2 months. Like, so, and one of those books was in Japanese, and my Japanese is not great. So like, I got time to fuck around, and like I work in schools. So like, not every job can necessarily, and there's a whole other thing with like Japanese schools and like people being valued, and school is basically everywhere. But like, can you do? Not every job can necessarily go to 4 days a week, or like, because like, hey, you need to get like, there's a lot you need to teach people and teach kids, or for some things, or like, or like make things more flexible. Like, okay, this teacher or these people can be off this day, and then this person gets off this day, and like flex the schedule around, make it so not everyone always has to be there, or whatever it is.
Yeah, like
because
you get
they can
like
get more work done.
Totally, and like you're starting to see that in like medical residencies, where it used to be the stereotype of people are staying at the hospital 48 72 whatever straight hours and working for a lot of those, and like getting a nap in when they can. But now it's more like they're doing 4 days on, 4 days off, like being more on call rather than physically there the whole time.
Right,
which is much better. Like, it's still not great because people are still spending like 72 hours in the hospital, but at least they're getting 4 days off.
It's a very bizarre thing for like a health profession to be like, and now we're going to run you ragged.
One of my closest friends, she works in a hospital lab, like she does lab work there, and I think she does 7 days on, 7 days off. And I mean, it's like she's not like on there all the time. Like, she has longer shifts, but she's not necessarily like, it's not 24 hours. It's not 24/7. She just has kind of 7 long shifts in a row and then 7 days off. And she loves that. That is like, she's,
I mean, if you get a week off,
fan.
Like,
she's like, I don't want to go back to a normal day. She's like, I don't know how you do it with doing 2 days off and like only have that.
Totally.
So I don't know.
That sounds way
like,
better.
Yeah.
I would do that too, given the opportunity.
Yeah. She's just like, I mean, I think the one thing that I'm hoping that people are realizing with everything with COVID is allowing for more flexibility if possible. When
employees are recognizing this, employers, some of them are like, no, why? Of course you're coming back to the office. You're coming back to the office, right?
But I mean, like, certain offices aren't. Like, my office sent out like a thing. It was like, hey, we realize you're coming back to the office in September, but at the same time, like, what sort of flexibility do you want? Like, what would a good schedule look like for you? And personally, for me, I want
work at a movie theater all the
consistency.
time.
Well, yeah, like
The
listen,
Lighthouse playing.
if listen, if like a projectionist was like a legit job anymore, like that's the job for me. But you know,
Everything's digital now.
I know
you just have like a
thing
laptop.
anymore.
You just have like a laptop and you're sitting in the theater. That's your schedule.
And I
You
just put on the
sit there and-
Lighthouse, and they're like, Allison, you're supposed to be showing Black Widow, and it's like, you guys are watching the Lighthouse. You guys are going to be watching Little Women today. I hope you enjoy. No, but I mean, like personally, I prefer consistency in a work schedule, right? So it's like I don't want it to necessarily go back and forth between home and office.
Yeah.
But
Agreed.
you know, I think that we're like we should hopefully be less and should be less do it all one way or another, just but more different options work better for different people. Hey, maybe we should be nicer to employees, please.
We have the power.
Maybe no one should ever have to work a 996.
Fuck, that is like
Absolutely
that
not,
is not
no.
like you know, I say everything. It's something's different for everyone, but I seriously doubt that there's very many people who are like, yeah, this is perfect. This is exactly the best schedule for me. Like,
Yeah.
fuck no.
Absolutely ridiculous. Well, hopefully, would we know what Lightspeed and Quantum Studios have worked on?
No, I think they're like some Chinese mobile games, I think.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can find anything. But
I'll take a look, but
yeah, I don't. It's not a studio that I'm necessarily.
oh, interesting. Apparently they have opened Lightspeed LA, which is
Yeah.
in LA, but that's not the same. It's not the same studio.
Yeah. They're working on AAA stuff. Interesting. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're making like poker games and stuff like that for phones in China.
Should probably make like big bucks for them, but
Probably.
Next news story. Always happy to see this one pop up. Summer Games Don't Quit.
yay!
Yeah, dude.
Wrapping up. It's finished this week. I didn't realize it was happening until it was like starting.
Same, honestly.
Oh, me too. You said it was SGDQ, and I'm like, hey, it is that time of year.
It kind of snuck up. I was like, oh, okay. And
Yeah.
I have not had like any time to watch.
Yeah, I haven't watched many
I'm definitely gonna go
runs,
back.
but
and,
there's like
check out some
several
stuff,
runs that you've mentioned to me that are just that
so
sounds
good.
so good.
It's
And
the
they're
only. Sorry.
Yeah.
Please continue.
yeah, and by the way, if since this is you know, by the time this episode goes up, it'll probably be just a few more hours left of GDQ. They have posted those on their YouTube, which is great. And then also, hey, donate. There's still time to donate to Doctors Without Borders, MSF. So
Yeah, the only thing I was going to mention, which is you brought up the YouTube, is that yes, all those VODs exist on YouTube, but you miss out on all the Twitch chat, which, man, when stuff is going real bonkers, that Twitch chat adds a lot to the experience, especially because there's no live crowd this time, or the previous
Yeah,
few
there
times.
hasn't been for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So like the hosts they're carrying as much as they can, but you're not getting all of the people going crazy in the background yelling orb and things of that nature. Which is art. It is beautiful. But yeah, there's been some I love that one too. But yeah, there's been some amazing, like totally amazing runs. Like some all-time best GDQ runs, I think.
yeah,
My yesterday was fucking nuts. And
I was the only thing that I did on the 4th that could be considered remotely patriotic was watching their Meta Wolf Chaos XD run, which
it's so
was
funny.
quite fun. I was like,
It's hilarious.
thank you for scheduling this on the 4th of July. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that was very deliberate.
It 100% was, but
So funny.
there are definitely some ones I want to go back and look at. Like I want to watch the Hitman 3 trilogy campaign, Silent Assassin. That one. I need to know what Coca-Cola Kid is.
Oh, same.
Yeah, that was funny. Pokemon Black and White was by far the best race I've ever seen.
That was wild. I didn't watch any of it. I'm gonna go back and watch that one.
It's
but
insane.
It was crazy how in sync they were for so much of that run. Like that with like an RPG like that for like Pokemon. I've seen Pokemon races before, and it's like that's never happens like that.
Yeah. So what happened is it was one player playing Pokemon Black, the other playing Pokemon White, and they're racing one another. And the entire run took nearly 3.5 hours. And by the time they called time, there was a 5-second difference between them.
Which is fucking like, wild for...
It's in 5 seconds over 3.5 hours.
Yeah, and it's like, I've seen runs that go that are that close with stuff like 2D Mario games where they're just so completely optimized. Like Mario 3 runs where it's like people who are speedrunning these know these games inside and out, backwards and forwards. But they're also a lot shorter, and they're a lot more focused on very specific routes. Whereas,
and they're not RNG dependent, like
exactly,
100%, yeah.
Yeah, and they're not RPGs where it's like there's definitely that element of RNG, and there's that element of that. That is just completely wild, and I'm going to go back and watch that run sometime later.
Yeah, like there's been a lot of really good runs, but yeah, GDQ is always great.
They're going to close out with the best game. Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Critical mode, any %. So that's the last game starting at, I don't know what time, sometime Eastern. Or some, I don't know, 12:48 p.m. my time. So I can watch that one. I'll be awake in time.
Yeah. And as of the time of this recording, they've made over $1.5 million.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's
and the friggin' the My run, they made $200,000 over the course of that run. It was so crazy.
Yeah, so they're doing a lot of raising a lot of great money for a really great cause, and it's just such a wonderful, wholesome part of gaming, and I'm always just so jazzed that it does well.
Totally. I forget which game it was, but if you look up on Twitter or whatever, the SGDQ Swiffer guy, have you seen that?
No.
Oh, it's amazing. He's playing some form of rhythm game.
Swiffer.
And again, these modern rhythm games, they're nonsense.
Yeah, but like, so it's one where he was basically doing like a duos mode, like what you would be doing with the second person, but was controlling the second person's feet with a Swiffer.
Pardon. Okay, I searched for Swiffer and I did not find it, but I'm gonna figure this one out. So
it might have been the Bishibashi. I don't remember, but either way, it was awesome. Like just the videos that came out of that.
Swiffer, swishy, swaffy.
You said it. Absolutely.
That's right. 100%. Speaking of bananas, calling back to when I said ooh banana. That classic GDQ meme.
classic
Donkey Kong.
all the time meme.
Donkey Kong is 40.
Damn, son.
Which Donkey Kong is it? Is this Funky Kong? No, Cranky Kong. Cranky Kong, I think, is the original Donkey Kong.
He sure is in the arcade game.
Yep.
So Cranky Kong is now 40. He looks way older.
I was gonna say he looks good for his age. Just kidding. Because if it's Cranky Kong, Cranky Kong looks old as hell. But if we're talking like our classic,
what is the lifespan
DK,
of a gorilla?
I don't
How
know.
old can a gorilla get? 35 to 40 years. Oh shit.
Oh shit.
Oh god. Oh no. Donkey Kong's gonna die.
If another Donkey Kong game shows up and Cranky Kong isn't in it, we know what happens.
We know what happened.
Like it's Donkey Kong is gonna fucking die, much like Wario.
Oh god. Okay,
Oh
well,
my god.
R.I.P. Cranky Kong.
But you know, that's good. I actually pretty recently went back to the barcade near my place for the first time since COVID started, and played some Donkey Kong, and that's a good game. I don't know.
Nice. Like original Donkey Kong, where you're playing as Mario jumping over the barrels. And...
Excuse you,
yeah.
Jump
Sorry,
Man.
Jump
Jump Man. Yeah, and Donkey Kong 3, where you're spraying up his ass.
Pardon?
Oh, you guys would be like, yes, of course you know what Donkey Kong 3 is like.
You fucking what?
Most of my experience with Donkey Kong is like the Game Boy game.
I thought you guys were gonna be like, yes, obviously this is what you do in Donkey Kong 3.
No.
You're basically this
no.
guy who has a like you're that guy with like the bug thing, and you kind of like are trying to hit Donkey Kong further up the screen from the ropes he's hanging on. So you're just kind of going like
Okay, I'll believe you, but I have no idea.
Okay, I'm putting this in our chat because I am like, I thought I was like, this is what everyone knows what that is like in Donkey Kong 3.
This is just a Rickroll.
No.
Rude. We are no strangers to love. I found out the name of that game, by the way. The game was Dance Rush. Was the name of
Dance Rush.
The Swiffer
This
thing.
is I don't know what you're showing me here, Allison. This is
It's Donkey Kong 3 where you're like spraying him up.
he's like
I don't know what you're
spraying,
showing.
like
It's Donkey
deodorant
Kong.
on Donkey Kong's nuts. Like
And then it pushes him upwards.
it's just like the fuck.
Beautiful.
This is bizarre.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's I played some of that at the arcade recently.
Mhm.
It's fun game, but I was like, I am shocked that you guys were like, oh, what?
Yep.
You know, that's Donkey Kong 3.
I know nothing about Donkey Kong, except Cranky Kong has reached the end of his lifespan.
Oh no.
Yeah. Well, we've got one more story. Dota 2, everyone's favorite game. Not at all.
Good game.
Some people say that. That is true. Some people say that. Delayed. The International 10, which is their like big international tournament, was delayed last year because of coronavirus. No, it's got to be in person, they said. And it was supposed to be in like September, August, something. I don't know. Isn't that
August,
when it
I think.
usually is?
It's usually August.
It has now been delayed again to October.
Yep.
And is being held, I guess, in Romania, not Sweden,
Yeah.
which was the original plan.
Yeah, because apparently it was happening. It was planned to be in Sweden in like a couple of weeks, but basically Swedish government reached out to them a week or two ago from now, so or past from now, so like at the start
And
of
was like, nah.
July, end of June, and was like, "Hey, so visas, you know about those, right? Yeah, we're changing all of our visa laws." And now esports cannot be recognized as under the same visa that we previously distributed, basically. So now you need to get new visas, and also esports isn't considered a sport, so it's harder to get visas. So it turned out like half the people who would have shown up couldn't show up.
Yeah.
So they just canceled the event because
Which makes sense.
like half the people couldn't participate.
That's like, I don't know. That seems shitty to like go, and we've just changed our laws, and now you've got to adhere to them. Like, you know, just like, okay, we've administered your visas, or you know, taking place, you know, on the 1st of, you know, January 1st or whatever, new visa laws, See, this seems like a very strange situation.
Yeah.
If the government just been like, hey, we're seeing what's happening in Japan with like coronavirus and then bringing like people bringing corona to the country for the Olympics. Yeah, no, you're not coming here. Like that I would understand. But this is just, that's weird.
Yeah. So they're moving to a new arena, and if you ever see pictures of the arena, it's friggin' enormous. Like it's absolutely just huge. I forget the name of the arena right now, but yeah, it's super enormous.
Is there like a Romanian Dota team?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Why Romania?
I don't think so.
Was there a Swedish Dota team? I feel like there's always like some sort of Norwegian or like Scandinavian, Scandinavian players in like the MOBAs.
Yeah, like Alliance was a notable Swedish team, but I'm looking at Romanian Dota 2 teams. I don't think. Oh, Kaipi. I didn't know they were Romanian. Okay. So Kaipi is a pretty major team.
Okay, so it is feasible.
Used to be, at least.
Feasible that they may be in the international.
Feasible, but I mean, like they're kind of like, if we're gonna tier list teams, like international teams are usually like S tier teams or A tier teams, and Kaipi was probably like a B or C tier. So
okay,
so it's possible, but probably not probable.
Okay, well there you go.
Anyways,
Romania, the home of Dota 2.
Yeah, esports. I'm still watching this Donkey Kong video. Is there lore to what he's actually spraying up?
It's like bug killer.
It's deodorant. He's misting his nuts.
Because it's like he has to kill all the bugs. Like he's an exterminator.
What? So
he's spraying bug killer on Donkey Kong's balls.
I was gonna say, is a gorilla considered a bug in this universe?
No, I don't know.
I mean, yes, Donkey Kong is like punching these beehives, and then somehow beetles are coming out of them.
The character whose name I cannot remember right now, but is a distinct character from Mario / Jumpman. Stanley.
Stanley is the last the last character for Smash Brothers is going to be Stanley.
Is a bugman.
Is that what it says?
That's what it says on Wikipedia.
he's not a bugman. He's not a bugman though. He kills the bugs.
No, but that's how they describe an exterminator.
Okay, is that what they call exterminators in like England or something?
Don't know. I just saw Stanley is a bugman, and I'm like, okay.
Let's see what Google Translate has to say about Japanese in this context.
What? A bugman is your typical big left-leaning city dweller. What?
Huh. Stanley, also known as Stanley the Bugman. He is in Smash Ultimate as, I assume, one of the
trophies.
Yeah.
Or assists or something.
Or whatever that is, and I forget what they're called in Smash, but
or like the Mii.
Yeah, as a spirit, as one of the spirits.
As a spirit.
He was apparently also a trophy in Melee.
Of course.
Okay.
So yeah, Stanley shows up in other things too. He
doesn't spray Donkey Kong's nuts in those.
No, but
could he? Is there a possibility that he could if someone's playing as Donkey Kong?
No.
Okay.
It's not how the game works, so they couldn't know. So obviously an inferior game to Donkey Kong 3.
Yeah. Duh. It's empirical.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I don't. Just leave Donkey Kong's nuts alone. He's so old now. That's why he looks so bad.
I'm not touching that one.
That's why Cranky Kong looks so fucking old, even though he's only 40.
Yeah, I mean, you have enough insecticide.
Sprayed with so much
your
like
ass.
DDT. Like, of course he's gonna look that bad. Yeah.
Also,
God indeed. God help him.
As far as I can see from this video, there's no doors. So.
No.
Shit to your game.
Yep.
that is going to do it for this not shit tier podcast.
I've got a door directly beside me. You can see it. It's right here.
Did you kick it open? Did you?
Here, give me a second.
Okay.
Open.
Okay. Nice.
I quote unquote kicked it open.
It looked like you used your hand from
Nope,
here. But
that
maybe
was my foot.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Totally.
Definitely a foot. Uh-huh.
Yep. We don't do a video version of this podcast, so.
Well, yeah, that's going to do it for episode 180. Where's my notes? 180 of the Gaming Fyx podcast on July 10th, 2021. I've been your host, Andre Cole, aka your partner's favorite bird. You can find me on Twitter with the birds at Coolslaw, COOLSL4W. Talking about, I don't know. I'm on vacation. I'm going to try and figure out something to do with my time. I don't know what that's going to be. Allison, where can people find you?
I'm on Twitter, WRITERSERENYTY.
And Alex?
Doing some new work in a couple days, I guess.
Okay. Well, we'll come down to your place of employment and, I don't know, ask you about Umineko or something.
Yeah. They would love that, I'm sure.
You can get this podcast wherever fine podcasts are provided. Provided. Thank you to Jeff Davis for providing us with our music. You can find the podcast on Twitter at Fyx Podcasts. Am I forgetting anything else? I don't know. We'll be back next week with another episode. Pat will be back that week, and I'm sure he'll talk about Scarlet Nexus or something, and he'll give a more holistic view of that. Someone who's more positive on it. I don't know. We'll be back with the podcast. Who knows? Maybe
might be more positive on it. We'll see.
I'll remember to put out a call for questions, and then we'll get some listener questions too. And yeah. All right. Well, Allison, Alex, thanks for joining me this week. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to be short this week, but 2 hours, not bad.
Yeah. No, not a bad time.
And thank you, listener. And stay wet, gamers.
Oh, Andre.
Oh, yeah.
One of our listeners was telling me yesterday that he saw a van where on the side of it, I don't know if it was spray painted or if it was a logo that just said "Stay Wet." And he was trying to take a picture of it for you, but couldn't get his phone out in time.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Well, keep your eyes out for the wet van.
Stay wet.
I'm doxing myself here, but yeah. If this van's a wet, don't call a vet. Wait, no, okay, I got it.
Okay.
Cut that, Alex. Cut that one out.
Yeah, sure, it's out.
If this van's wet, don't place a bet.
Nailed it.
All right.
Got it in one.
Yep. Nailed it.
Thanks for joining me, and we'll be back next week. So long.
Okay, bye.
Bye.